going to be a very welcomed innovation for them. You know, it will practically reduce the cost of their operations on a daily basis.
That brings us to the end of Smart Money this week. Until next week, goodbye.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Today on One. In the news tonight, civil servants turn up in numbers to vote for strike. Coma's Suicide Prevention Task Force strive for zero suicides. UNAM to open wildlife unit to encounter emerging diseases. Namibia looks to improve agriculture infrastructure in the next 2 decades. And round up, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. Civil servants came out in numbers to cast their votes at different polling stations in the capital on the nationwide strike. After salary increment negotiations with the government reached a deadlock, unions representing civil servants called on them to participate in a ballot to determine whether they should strike.
Namibia could see the largest industrial action post-independence if government employees vote in favor of a strike over the next 2 days. Today on One visited some of the polling stations in the capital to witness the process, which started at 8 this morning. Civil servants formed a long queue to vote at the government office park, where a number of government ministries are based. This was the same at the parliament, where employees stepped out of work to vote on the looming strike. The presiding officer at Windhoek Central Hospital spoke to Today on One about the first day turnout.
You know, we had faced some problems with the mortalities, distribution of the ballot papers, but we managed to start around 9, half past 9. When we were already, awaited by a lot of people. It was an awesome feeling to come here to see people are waiting to show their feeling about our intention. There has been a misinterpretation and understanding about who the voters are. The people who are voting here, in fact, the whole civil servants. Not only teachers, but the other ministries also. And especially with the polling station I'm running here, there is a misunderstanding about, nurses are essential services and they cannot vote. In fact, there is a difference. They can vote, but they cannot participate in the industrial strike. So to emphasize who must come and vote, every civil servant has the right, is eligible to come and vote.
Koma Hub stated that the ministerial employment list containing employees' names is not in alphabetical order. He also mentioned that they started with the process a bit late.
Some of the challenges we are facing is the main one, in fact, that is now also taking up a lot of time, is the compilation of the voters' list, which is not in an alphabetical order, and also not in The monasteries as they must be in the alphabetical order. The names are also not in the alphabetical order, and we find it difficult, to verify. The verification issue is there where, very much problematic. I think with the people coming up to come and vote, it's an enormous number of people that are coming up. And I believe that the people have now enough of according to what we are experiencing now, the living standard, the cost of living, and what they are taking home does not speak to each other. So they want to show that which direction they want to pursue.
The government employs over 100,000 civil servants, and the two-day voting process will involve the majority of employees represented by bargaining bodies determining whether or not the national strike will take place.
Great combo deal from Choppies! Choppies, great value for your money.
Choose boldness and celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
The Commerce region is one of the top 3 regions with high suicide incidences in the country, with 80 cases reported since the beginning of 2021. The Commerce region, occupying 3rd place, is trailing behind Ohangwena, which recorded 100, and Omusati region recording 105 cases during the same period.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Recent statistics released by the Ministry of Health and Social Services show that a total of 679 people died by suicide between January 2021 and May 2022, with 559 men, 91 women, 18 boys and 11 girls. The Commerce Suicide Prevention Task Force, established in 2021, believes that deaths by suicide are preventable and is thus striving towards zero suicides in the Commerce region, an awareness initiative which will be later rolled out to other regions. Chairperson of the Commerce Suicide Prevention Task Force, Tuhafeni Talia, said, as a way to tackle the alarming suicide cases in the country, the task force plans to implement the Columbia Protocol on the 10th of September 2022 as the world observes the Suicide Prevention Day. The Columbia Protocol is, according to the task force, regarded as the best tool in the world for suicide prevention.
The Columbia Protocol, it's believed or regarded as the best tool in the world for suicide prevention. That's why we decide in Commerce region to implement it. We want to use the Columbia Lighthouse Project. The protocol is just the cards which you have to share with the community, or you have to share with your colleagues, your families. There are certain questions, and those questions can help you to identify early signs of suicide. So, because the more we identify the signs of suicide early, the better we can be able to save life, the better we can able to help our people. Because if we wait until at the late stage, then it will be difficult to save some of the people. Because when people are suicidal, they are they start already with the plan of how to do it, when to do it, and so on. So that's why we are using the Columbia protocol tool to identify it as early as possible.
Deputy Minister of Health and Social Services Esther Munyangwe raised concern with the high cases of deaths by suicide amongst men, stating that there is a culture in society that men and boys do not seek help. Munyangwe further said suicide pacts are also increasing in the country, whereby 2 or more people agree to take their own lives.
And we know that it is sort of a culture or a norm in our societies that men and boys do not have help-seeking behavior. And we need to change that attitude, that men, boys, they feel equally hurt and they feel pain just like their counterparts, the females and girls. So those are some of the activities that the KSPT would like to address to help our society to change their mindset, to have a paradigm shift and influence men to start seeking professional help or assistance. And I want to look at the suicide or the attempted suicide pacts. The societal behavior has increased in our country, even with cases of suicide or attempted suicide pacts. Now, a suicide pact is an agreement between 2 or more people to take their lives together, such as the incident in Swakopmund this year. This is a great concern for Namibia when we begin to lose 2 people at the same time. That is why the country needs an immediate public information and education on national disaster and emergencies preparedness, response, prevention, and mitigation.
According to the Namibian police statistics, the most common methods of suicide are hanging, shooting, consuming battery water, and drowning. People also consume poison, cut their throats or necks, stabbing or burning.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product, swipe your Spar Rewards card, and go big with Nescafe Recoffee for just $79.99 and Coup Baked Beans and Tomato Sauce for only $12.49. Win your shopping instantly, only at Spar.
The School of Veterinary Medicine, which has footprints in Katima Mulilo, is planning to open a wildlife unit at the Katima Mulilo campus. Anna Marais made these remarks this week at the Hagegengop campus during a showcase of 6 schools in the Faculty of Health Sciences and Veterinary Medicine, where they displayed projects and innovations by students and staff over the last 6 years.
A member of the Namibian Veterinary Council, Anna Marais, mentioned that opening a wildlife unit in Katima Mulilo is important, and it's part of the One Health initiative, which aims to combine human life, animal and environmental health in one single approach. Marais added that 75% of emerging human diseases come from animals, and the One Health initiative wants to predict and mitigate these diseases before they become an epidemic.
I have a footprint on Katima Mulilo campus with our diploma in animal health. And as the Vice Chancellor has announced, there is a faculty initiative to open a One Health unit on Katima campus. If I can just dwell on One Health for 1 minute, I think that we are all aware that the One Health initiative aims to combine human health, animal health and environmental health in one single approach. And why is this important? First of all, our population is expanding. Secondly, our climate is changing. This means that our environment is changing and land use patterns are going to change. Thirdly, there is a massive increase in global travel, not only for humans, but for animals and animal products as well. We are aware that 75% of emerging human diseases come from animals. And this is what the One Health initiative wants to do. We would like to try and predict and mitigate these diseases before they come. We are all very well aware of coronavirus. Think of avian influenza, Ebola, as the Vice Chancellor mentioned, malaria, monkeypox. We can just go on and on.
Mare explained that the Katima Mulilo campus is an ideal place to establish a wildlife unit because of the cultural frontier conservancy area that is there.
We think that Katima Mulilo campus is the ideal place to establish this unit because of the Khaza Transfrontier Conservation Area there. This is where 5 countries come together: Namibia, Botswana, Angola, Zimbabwe and Zambia. And we are sure that this unit is going to be a big success for our faculty.
Mare also highlighted the importance of having a wildlife unit at the Katima Mulilo campus as the country faces an expanding population, a changing climate, and a massive increase in global population.
The battle is on. Protect yourself from diseases and infections such as colds and flu with a range of locally produced Supplemax products. Shield yourself using these natural disease-fighting weapons. Supplemax Immuno CDZ with vitamin C, D and zinc is recommended as an immune booster that could help prevent COVID-19 infection. Supplemax Active Immuno Support helps restore and maintain a healthy, balanced immune system and may help prevent cancer. Supplemax Vitamin C 750 milligram is the perfect antioxidant and immune booster in the right dose to fight a range of immune-based diseases. And new on the market, Supplemax Echinacea Active Capsules, which could assist in preventing and shortening the duration and symptoms of the common cold and flu. Supplemax, your protection against disease and infection. Available at all leading pharmacies as well as supermarkets countrywide. A proud Fabiofarm product.
The Namibian government is rolling out projects worth 1.8 billion Namibia dollars for the upgrade of agriculture infrastructure. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform presented these projects during the annual strategic workshop held in Katima Mulilo earlier this week. The upgrade plans are set to last until the year 2037.
The Minister of Agriculture, Carl Schlittwein, stated that a number of water plants and pipeline systems need to be improved to reach the development goal of zero hunger by 2037. Schlittwein added that regional directors have been made aware of these plans in order for them to mobilize communities to cooperate in the implementation and success of these upgrades.
The development of the Oangwena 2 aquifer, the development of the Urundu purification plant and the pipeline system for up to the border, that is Divundu, and up to Mururani. The same in Katima Mulilo here, a purification plant that then supplies water to Bukalo, Wiyako, Kongola. So it's a large infrastructure program worth 1.8 billion that we have done. For the West Coast, it is the desalination and the refurbishment of the piping system, and in the south, it is the Neckartal program and the linking of the dams. That's Neckartal, Hardap, Naute, and Oordop.
The minister also said the conditions of existing dams and desalination plants countrywide will determine the possibility of reaching the goal of food security while giving farmers better facilities and operating systems.
We also explained how the livestock sector is dependent on the export market and what needs to be done to assure that that market remains open and that farmers get the best prices for their produce, because we only consume about 30% of our total production. We are therefore export driven. So those were the informations that we gave. We also gave information of what is in the budget for this year and what we have in the MTEF. I believe that the governors were happy to receive that information. It is important that we share that information, and they were very happy.
Schledwijn explained that the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform wants to improve Namibia's chances of self-sustainability by 2037 and use this initiative to show support for the empowerment of the farming sector at large.
Choose boldness and celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
In other leading stories, with an HIV prevalence of 8.4% among the general population living with HIV, according to the 2022 Spectrum model, the Oshoton-Jupa region is one of 12 priority areas for Namibia's voluntary medical male circumcision, or VMMC, scale-up plan in support of the Health Ministry's HIV response. Research shows that male circumcision reduces HIV transmission in men by 60%, and it is an important HIV prevention measure, especially when combined with other approaches. The Ministry of Health and Social Services partners with the U.S. government supported scaling up access for expanded voluntary medical male circumcision activity to circumcise 80% of the Namibian male population from 15 years and older. The program is funded by the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR, through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Community mobilization and interpersonal communication are essential for engaging the population to raise awareness and understand VMMC services. This includes the recruitment of community mobilizers with the assistance of local constituency councillors. Norwich Kaurika is a 44-year-old respected traditional circumciser from Okakarara, a small town in Namibia's Oshoton-Jupa region. Norwich takes pride in performing circumcisions because for his tribe, the Ovaherero, tradition dictates that every young man should be circumcised not only as a rite of passage but also to prevent infections and improve hygiene. Before he attended the SAFE VMMC training, Norwich was unaware that circumcision reduces the risk of HIV transmission. He became a proud participant of the community mobilizer training, where he learned about the importance of circumcision in the fight against HIV. The part-time farmer and VMMC mobilizer encourages young boys and men in his community to take advantage of free HIV prevention services, books clients, and refers them to free VMMC outreach services.
We've always had the bravery to stand up for what is Namibian. From protecting our homes from invaders to fighting the injustices of our people. We still honor what our country means to us and raise a glass to those who show their bravery. No matter how how bright their spotlight, how commanding their performance, or how they shoot for the stars. With all this potential brewing in the land of the brave, what will you do to make this Namibia your Namibia?
Up next is Joseph Shifani with Business on One and the economic indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. The Government Institutions Pension Fund, JPF, will soon launch a new digital biometric enrollment and verification system. The leading pension fund says the digital system will ensure sustainability and efficiency as it strives to bring services closer to its members.
Ignatius Manyando, manager of annuities at JPF, stated that this transformation will allow the fund to do their work remotely and reduce the number of JPF members going to offices for enrollment and verification services. Manyando further stated that the new system will bring great relief to the members.
For some, you would remember, coincidentally, in 2020, there were some COVID restrictions, and the GIPF effectively suspended the biometrics verifications. So it got us thinking that in our quest to transform the GIPF, and given the fact that we are unable to verify people, it's important that we find a solution for them, which will be much more modern, where they could do some of these services remotely, and we could reduce the amount of people coming to the offices. So essentially, it was necessitated by strategy. And secondly, given what we have undergone, the lessons we have learned from the COVID-19, we wish to really bring transformation to the way we offer our services. We know we are moving into a world of digitalization. Connectivity is everywhere. We have institutions that are working hard to ensure that there's connectivity in all corners of Namibia. So people are going to be able to verify using a mobile application, for instance, and you don't have to walk, to get from long distances to the nearest place to verify. You will be able to do this. We will in future also embark on installing self-help kiosks in very strategic areas where people can actually go and do and help themselves to these services without necessarily having to walk far off. We did talk about security. We have noted quite a number of scamming where our pensioners get scammed and all that. And with this comes a lot of security because it's no longer dependent on just one biometric factor, but two. So we are really happy about that. And the fact that we never have to send someone back home because of system downtimes, that is really exciting. This new solution will affect all annuitants. Essentially, these are people who receive an income from the GIPF, and these include retirees, people who are on retirement, be it early retirement or normal retirement at the age of 60, as well as spouses of members who may have passed on, and the children who qualify to receive an income from the GIPF. So the new system comes into effect on the 1st of August 2022. That will be the official launch, and we will run the enrollment period up until the 28th of February 2023.
Manyando stressed that JPF beneficiaries need to enroll and verify in order to avoid the fund from suspending their benefits.
It's really critical for someone to enroll because your benefits are based on us knowing that the individual who's receiving the benefits is indeed still alive. Now, through this process of enrollment, we will capture your biometrics data, and that in itself is proof of life. Now, going forward after the enrollment process, as may be required periodically, we will give out some dates to say from the 1st of June, you are required to verify. And essentially what you need to do is to prove that, hey, I'm still alive, and I still qualify for this benefit, do not suspend my benefit, continue to pay me. So in the absence of this enrollment, you are putting yourself in a predicament. You might find yourself in a situation where now your benefits are unpaid because we are unable to prove that you are indeed alive. So it's very critical. I really encourage our members out there that they do go out in numbers to enroll. They just have to bear with us. It's a new system. But yeah, we will enroll everyone. Well, you see, the nice thing about this system that we have now, while as in the past we required everyone at time of verification to either visit their nearest GIPF or their nearest NAMPost, this system uses multiple platforms in that you could basically do your verification remotely. As well as the enrollments that we are embarking on, the campaign that we're embarking on, we are going to be able to do this remotely. We are not really office bound. We will be going out there to the people. Some teams will be sent out. And the beauty of it is, while as in the past you needed connectivity, this one won't be affected by system downtimes in respect of verifications. So if someone comes and verify and the system is down, we don't have to send the person back home. We can effectively do the verification offline, and once we are back online, it will send that information back to the system.
The manager of annuities also indicated that the fund will deploy teams at remote areas to do the verifications and enrollments.
The clock has struck for your daily business and financial news update. Brought to you by The Brief.
Namibia is expected to start providing affordable health services to everyone in the country under the Universal Healthcare Plan next year, the Ministry of Health has said. This comes as the country is striving to re-envisage the availability, accessibility, acceptability and quality of health service delivery in a way which meets the needs and rights of all, and especially key marginalized and vulnerable populations. Ministry of Health Primary Healthcare Director Naomi Shopala said the government is envisioning a situation where patients are not forced to fork out thousands of dollars in order to secure certain health services. She said during COVID-19, they saw some patients paying as much as 20,000 Namibia dollars in order to secure an oxygen concentrator. Shopala also raised concern about ambulance costs in the country, which she said were out of reach for many people. She added that such fees leave families to end up loading injured persons onto a non-designated vehicle because they can't afford it, adding that although Namibia is ranked 60% to 79% for having access to essential services, more improvements still need to be done. Ministry of Health Representative Jeremiah Ngipunjwa weighed in, saying the financial implications of the long-awaited inclusive health system are yet to be determined. Mobile Telecommunications Limited (MTC) plans to nationalize its national internship program by raising $14.4 million per annum, which will be used to upscale the intake from the current 160 students to 1,600 per year. MTC Chief Human Capital Corporate Affairs and Marketing Officer Tim Ekanjo said they are ready to upscale the project to become a national vehicle for internships. MTC and the Office of the Prime Minister will collectively contribute $2 million per annum and are looking for other corporates out there to come on board with a contribution of at least 200,000 Namibia dollars. He said the telco has thus far identified 53 corporates, which he urged to pledge an amount of 200,000 Namibia dollars towards the initiative. MTC Managing Director Liki Erastus highlighted that while the program takes stock of its achievements, smart partnerships will have a bigger impact. Launched on the 17th of June 2019, MTC Namibia National Internship Program, which is aimed at accommodating over 160 interns annually, has so far assisted 600 students on a budget spending over $7 million to date. According to MTC, Namibia has 48,000 students nationally who are in dire need of an internship to graduate.
This was your daily Namibian business and financial news update. For in-depth stories, read more on thebrief.com.na now.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product, swipe your Spar Rewards card, and go big with 1 kg Spar cornflakes for just $41.99 and 3 kg Sunlight hand washing powder for only $79.99. Win your shopping instantly, only at Spar.
Win free airtime with Learn on One. Tell us what's your favorite subject on Learn on One and win $50 airtime. SMS your answer, name, age, and the town you live in to 555. Standard T's and C's and SMS rates apply. Learn on One. Invite learning in.
Two unions that are among bargaining bodies calling on civil servants to go on strike have rejected the Labour Minister's stance that the government is not in a position to afford salary increments. Kota said the Labour Minister does not have the nation's interest at heart. Joshua said retired presidents should not be getting salaries. Ndahoya said those going to vote are not patriotic. Laurentia said divine intervention is needed. Gabriel said the two former heads of state should be removed from the payroll. And that's it from Comments Corner. Be sure to engage in our stories on our social media pages for broadcast on Today on One.
There are different types of decisions, such as rational, habitual, impulsive, and coin tossing.
Let's get started.
The consumption of poultry containing food poisoning organisms such as salmonella, but the danger to health can be dramatically reduced.
What about other organisms in the animal kingdom? Well, some animals are ectothermic.
Welcome to Lesson 5 for Grade 10 and 11 Mathematics.
Methodologies and approaches in order to produce relevant and suitable results.
Great combo deal from Choppies! Choppies, great value for your money.
Up next is Castro with Sports on One.
Good evening and welcome to Sports on One. I'm your host Castro Ulumbu.
The much-anticipated horse racing event, the First National Bank July Handicap, returns this weekend after a 2-year break due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The event will host 17 races on the day with 60,000 Namibia dollars up for grabs for the winner. The Professor Supporters Club Chief Executive Officer Timo Muyeo gave an update on how the event preparations are going as the event draws closer.
The registration of horses has been completed. The program is out. We have registered close to 80 horses for the event. And the reputation of the FNB July Handicap Service is always the number of horses that are coming. We will have 17 races for the day, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we hope to finish by 5 in the afternoon. The main race, the big one, but as you know, this is the first time that more than 250,000 Namibian dollars have been allocated to a horse racing event in Namibia. And the main race, which is race 15, will the price allocated to this race is 60,000 Namibian dollars. And we want to make all the participants in that race winners. So we are going to pay out to the first 6 places. There's a mix between non-bred horses that are from Namibia and import horses that have been brought from other countries like South Africa. And look, every horse that comes to this race is very important. The July Handicap. And I said there's 80 horses. I really don't want to discriminate against some of them, but all the seasoned Namibian horses will be there. The defending champion, Rockley Beach from Uganda, is going to be there in the main race. And there's 12 horses in the main race.
Following the tragic death of a jockey earlier this year in Riobot when he fell off his horse due to a faulty starting stall, Muyeo emphasized that they have safety measures in place to prevent the same thing from happening again. In addition, Muyeo said that apart from the horse racing event, the club also organized a musical show.
As you know, FNB Namibia has sponsored Professor Supporters Club with starting stalls. That is going to be used is going to be used for the first time by Professor Supporters Club at this event. They have always been used by other clubs that came to Akashi Paratev Club. So that is one safety measure on its own. The Namibian police is going to be in attendance for safety. We will bring in veterinary officers in as well to look after the welfare of horses. We're looking at a breathalyzer test for jockeys, and if we find that a jockey is not fit to race, then we will not race. So those are some of the measures. But apart from that, we're looking at adhering to the COVID protocols. As Professor Supporters Club, we took a conscious decision that we were not going to stage any event during the COVID time. And I think this is now the time for us to come back to the racetracks. And there was an absence of 2 years of this July Handicap Series. People are excited, people are looking forward to be at Okashipara this weekend. And we want to invite everyone to come to Okashipara and have fun for the whole day. And after that, there will be music, shows and things in the area and so on. But our main business for Professor Supporters Club on the Saturday is between 10 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
The winner will walk away with a 60,000 Namibia dollars cash prize, and the lowest cash prize winner walking away with 8,000 Namibia dollars. The First National Bank of Namibia, that has been sponsoring the July Handicap event for the past 5 years, announced its continuous support to the Professor Supporters Club with 900,000 Namibia dollars. The sponsorship will be divided into 300,000 Namibia dollars for the next 3 years. Thank you for watching. Catch us again tomorrow for more updates on Sports on One.
Thank you, Castro, for that update. Now let's have a look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm to hot. A few light showers are most likely over the extreme eastern parts of the Hardap region in places. A fresh northerly to a northwesterly wind in the interior. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild with morning fog patches. The wind moderate northwesterly to southwesterly.
We've come to the end of tonight's edition of Today on One. From me, Isai Sipunga, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
It's not a race. It's an adventure. It's this epic thing that you get to do. You get to run an unbelievable distance in a place that's almost untouched. And we've been able to, in 7 days, travel the entire country and stay at some of the most beautiful lodges. We've had an exquisite rainy season. There's very few people who've seen the country ever in their lifetime the way it is right now. It's mind-blowing. I've been running for about 8 years, ultra. I like to push hard and run far and do things that the average person doesn't do. For many years, I've wanted to do the 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. And when COVID happened, it became very clear that that was never going to happen for us. Travel, international races, it was all just taken away from us. So suddenly you have these people who are living for running, who are living for traveling, and now there's nothing. Caletso phones me the one day and says, you know, he thinks maybe we should actually make this work. Him and I have been talking for about 4 years about it and how much we'd love to do this. He says, let's do it in Namibia. Now I need to find people to come along with me because this is not a simple thing to do. You need somebody who's willing to run almost 300 kilometers in 7 days. How do you train for that? And I put on Facebook, and the next thing you know, people are contacting, can they come along? And
I'm Marisa Drey. Like I said, I'm from Windhoek and I've always loved running. I initially saw Kirsty's Facebook post and I immediately phoned her and said, please put me on your list because this is exactly the kind of event which I love.
Well, I've been running for basically as long as I've been alive. I've run basically every continent, I think, except the Americas. This was fun. This is the most fun I've had in all the races that I've ever done.
My name is Joey Shihama, an ultra-marathon runner. I got an email actually from Kirsty. I said, yes, Kirsty, it's a challenge, so I'm up for it.
Ordinarily, when you do a marathon, you're done and you go home, you rest, and it's lacquer. Now, we have to go home, get our things ready, and tomorrow morning you've got to get up and do it again. Mentally, it's been unbelievably difficult. The terrain obviously changes. So for example, when we were at the Cannon Lodge, you couldn't run very far because the sand was so thick. So then you start negotiating with yourself. So mentally, you have to push yourself because honestly, your body can do it. You know, if you train like we train, your body can do it. The physical part hasn't been the hardest, but man, your head. I've been blown away just by the support. The staff was suddenly running with us.
It was the most beautiful scenery. It was just magic, you know, running through those hills. You were mostly alone.
I love Kleinhaus Vista. It's so unlike what I'm used to from Swakop. Over mountains and it's fast and it's, you know, very challenging and it's exciting.
My favorite part was getting lost on Pete's Mountain. That will go down in history.
The Kleinhaus Vista was the most difficult one. I took the wrong route, but also made it to the 49-kilometer mark.
But I like the way how the team came together and we all found each other with no network, but everything worked out well. I think that's the worst case scenario and we shone through it.
I think the most difficult part is to get up every day and restart the challenge. It's not like you can do it every day in the same headspace. Some days are obviously hard and some days are easier. I think it comes quite naturally if you have a passion for running.
Wherever I was explaining things to people on Facebook and on social media and things, I said, geez, today was tough, eh? But oh, my stack is beautiful. You know, how lucky are we?
My favorite terrain to run is the Namib Desert.
I've been very surprised at how well my body is handled. You know, you kind of run, your body knows what it's doing. It just keeps going because we're not racing, we're not pushing to our maximum at any stage. I mean, we've been incredible terrain, but we've not been pushing that hard. Support obviously is very special. These messages coming from people talking about what an inspiration it is. And that was never what we were intending to do. We were a couple of runners who wanted to go and do something friggin' awesome. And suddenly people are coming and saying, I've never run, but I'm seeing what you guys are doing, now I want to run. You know, that's what it is.
My favorite part of this experience was the people that kept us going, that kept us supporting us on the road. And my favorite part of the marathon was also in the Swakop Moon, where everybody came out to support us, and all the Swakop Moon people came out. So.
What a surprise!
Summerland, we struggled because there'd been a lot of rain and the grass, and the terrain was completely different to when I actually came ahead of the time and did the runs there and worked out the loops. Everything was suddenly different from the rain. So there's grass, you can't see the trails anymore. To do loops is always going to be difficult, especially on day 6 of 7 marathons. So mentally, Summerland, it was very tough for me.
The most difficult part was waking up at 5 a.m. and thinking, okay, I'm going to run another 42. But the minute we started, you know, the scenery just like makes you forget what you did yesterday.
Today was tough because we were on the tar road, but that was unfortunately something we had to do. It was a safety issue, and that's something that it's a non-negotiable. You know, if at all times our #1 priority has been to keep our runners safe. So when it came down to the grass is too high, there's loads of snakes, we could not allow for a dangerous environment for one of our runners. Okay, so it was a decision. But when you've been running 6 marathons on beautiful soft terrain, which is what it is when you off-road, and then you hit tar. Man, our knees today, our bodies were... So I think yesterday and today were probably the harder of the lot.
The last part was the most difficult part. I almost gave up at 31 kilometers. And then I thought of not giving up because I know where I started this.
No, it was even better than I expected or would I have imagined. And yes, we finished today, and it was an absolute highlight of my year this far, actually for the past 2 years.
So it's just been, man, it's just next level. Everything that we've been through over this last 7 days is just insane.
It was a wonderful experience, and I would love everybody to join and to come take part of it.
The stories about Gondwana 7, the marathon series, are insane. Risa would run a sub-4 every day. And there's Joey, who managed to do 6 out of 7 marathons with a busted knee. And Kirsty is the wild one. She led the group out into a rocky desert with no water, 20 kilometers off course. You know what? Maybe you should call these guys the Fab Four. They have different strengths, but together they make great music. We're rock stars, man. And we got the stones to prove it.
You know, the distance means nothing, but where we've been and what we've seen, and the laughs that we've had and the friendship and stuff, that's what the last 7 days have been.
It's a fact if I come, it's the fact. Oma kwaito meno kushu na koni mascript I can't do. 5 clip koka batu. I do no problem and game moto shindo tosa ngwa shike mokana. No look up, late back and again and I shall fully fight. First come get saved, then I'm coming 5 times. Scared man, una shit on English, I for this time and what's a scared man.